pair, that's like best friend territory right there. They've got like friendship bracelets and everything that they wear while they're sitting together in the gaming house. And Angry Titans have a gaming house as well. We should talk about that. Lots of synergy that can be built by these guys just hanging out together in real life and just being friends.
I want those bracelets to have Angry Titans written in little cubes, and then one of the logo and one of them too. That'd be kind of cute.
They've got two makes. One that says Angry Titans and another says Stay Angry. And the chat certainly is. They are very much in favor of Angry Titans here. But promise, he's going to feel angry that Dezachu betrayed him, and of course he's going to be feeding that through to Young and Beautiful, who can harness that rage to try and bring out some high damage here. Dids and Track with a double projectile.
Oh yes, Track jumping on the famous Farah up against Angry Titans, who are running that 3-3, that Goats comp with Urki on the Brigitte and A-Fox on that Moira, and Lodi obviously rounding it out with the Lucio. We saw them do spectacular things last week, especially utilising the speed boost, which is also important when it comes to this comp, because it's very hard to take someone like Track out the air. They're going to have to just punish X-Rap and Dids. Those very immobile supports can be quite a bit of a pain for them.
And have a look at this. Already Angry Titans are accruing capture percentage, and Young and Beautiful have to give up the high ground to make sure it's contested.
Yeah, they do. And Luddy is going to just jump onto the point. Elivote trying to match the Farah in mid-air, but Track is going to be rather protected as he's got two supports kind of pocketing him right now. But then Best actually taking care of Elivote's mech is going to make sure Angry Titans can't progress even further. Still contesting the point, however, no one has capped it just yet, and a lot of charge going over to Underwood. However, not being able to land on anybody is going to be a problem. Only 35% of that ultimate available to him, and Track has already got that rocket barrage. He's pummeling tanks days and days out. There's no way he's not going to get ult every single fight in this match.
Angry Titans, they were playing it pretty smart. They tried to go into the corner so that Lolsish with his mono-directional shield could shield him from both Track and Dids, but still damage managed to slip through, and they managed to demech Elivote, who's about to get his mech back. Then they can make a re-engagement. The question is, will there be enough damage here to try and take Track out of the air when he's got potentially both Harmony Orb and Gustav with a pocket?
Well, maybe they just want to erase the rest of the team, then Track will soon follow. Danny dueling out with the Reinhardt to start off with. That's on the free ult charge for Lolsish, near that 70% mark. Dids has got those dragons online to them. However, A-Fox is the first to unleash an ultimate, and that Coalescence does claim X-Ras life. Like I said, the mobile support's a bit of a pain in the bum for Young and Beautiful right now, and so is Track. Apparently, he ends up taking out two. In fact, that booster rocket looked like it just killed someone there. Luddy ends up going down. Track claiming 2 lives here is going to be fairly important. He's kept alive also with that double pocket, but Gustav, Valkyrie ended up falling there. The last crucial second, he does end up falling, so that should be a fairly clean sweep for Angry Titans. However, Dids making himself known in the front, and Elivote going down fairly low, but Dids is just going to end up sacrificing himself, and the point gets flipped over.
Dids trading his health for percentage points there, and 61% is what Young and Beautiful will have gained over the course of those 2 fights there. And Angry Titans eventually won out in a way that we came to try and expect, like you said at the beginning, Jaws. They just decided to try and smash whatever was on the ground for Young and Beautiful, so that Track didn't have a leg to stand on, or air to float on, as it were. And you can really see now that Young and Beautiful, they've saved up some ultimates. They know that they're going to be able to come in and try and force their way onto this point by using things like the Transcendence to duel out against Angry Titan support ultimates, which A-Fox has already unleashed.
Oh, there's the Coalescence, another ult that will be available every fight. And with Gustav and X-Raf going down already, Young and Beautiful, they know exactly who to target first up. It's not Track in the air, it's the support line and the support network from Young and Beautiful in order to win those fights. And they only did that with one, mind you, as well.
Yeah, that wasn't a long fight for Young and Beautiful. They had very effective shot calling. The second that Gustav was down, like, nah, this is over. And Ben Best and Danny threw themselves off to do some swimming in the beautiful Middle Eastern seas there of Oasis. And now Angry Titans, they built up a considerable amount of ultimates here, and Only God's almost got that Graviton Surge, and we've seen throughout Contenders Season 2 just how impactful this ultimate is.
Well, speed up coming through for Angry Titans to match Dids on the Dragon Strike, just to make sure they get out of there rather quickly. And Urki's going to say goodbye to Dids as well. Chase him down once again with that speed boost. Luddy was able to amp up the rest of the team as well. Sound Barrier landed on 6 members, and now Only God has that Graviton Surge to work with. Self-destruct in the center of the point, clearing out the rest of Young and Beautiful for the time being, and Ben Best trapped against the wall. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, but Track ending up taking out Luddy here might be a small problem for Angry Titans, but apparently not today, as Elivote once again chases him down.
I felt like that was a less than ideal usage of a Graviton Surge. It felt like Angry Titans were firmly in control of that point, and they could have saved it for this last fight, which is coming up, and now Only God won't be able to use that ultimate there. Instead, they're going to rely on Lolsish to come out with this proactive shatter that he's already coming out with the speed boost. Luddy leading the way here, and Angry Titans are following.
He's Lucios are so key in these matchups, especially with 3-3. Rocket Barrage comes out from track to dissuade the rest of Angry Titans. They're going to go onto the point, and that'll be a self-destruct used coming out from Danny. However, Lulsish just swinging for the fences right now, and that's Coalescence once again doing a lot of work. Gustav's going to go down yet again. Prioritization of these key targets from Angry Titans is so good. The shatter hits the floor finally, and that'll be Lulsish cleaning the rest of the team up. Overtime is going to run out, and Angry Titans will take guns.
Perfect judgment of the angle of attack from Shadow there to claim both Exaraf and Did, who are sort of on opposite sides of the cone of effect. So you can tell Lulsish has got so many hours on this Reinhardt, he can picture it in his head exactly where it's going to land. He knows the telegraph, and he will strike true most of the time. You cannot gamble going against Lulsish with a Shadow because you will lose. Like, Lulsish is the house. Don't gamble against the house.
Never gamble against Lulsish. And never gamble against Elivote either. This guy, how many ults did he eat last week? I don't even know. I couldn't even keep track.
He's an obese boy now.
Most of them, it's so many. At least 3 or 4. A couple of Dragon Spikes are eaten, and he even ate a Grav last week as well. This guy is just a fantastic tank player, just all round. And coupled with Lulsish, like we mentioned before, this long-standing synergy is really coming to the forefront now. Small change-ups in the compositions. Harry have Urki on the Widowmaker and track. He's jumping over to that Brigitte.
Now let's talk about Urki on the Widowmaker. This is brand new. Usually we see Onigod on the Widowmaker, and now Onigod's going to be heading straight back to spawn. It's all about Urki. He's got the damage boost on him, but he's going to be the main DPS available. Angry Titans might just back off here. Decide, Young and Beautiful, we're not going to give them the additional ult percentage. They can have the first capture.
Don't want to make sure they don't dice with death to start us off with, especially going into a composition like this. Look how much healing, AoE healing at that as well, as Track and Gustav are going to be able to provide. With Onigod going down, Dids ended up finding the one clip there, it seems like. No recall apparently. Onigod does end up getting rezzed, and Dids maybe looking for a little something else here as well. Only 40%, and that's the speed boost now used from Young and Beautiful to charge forward. Very low goes Danny. In fact, he is going to get DMEX instantly here, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. Elivo does take out Danny as well. Dids finds the kill onto Lulsish, and Young and Beautiful now backing off towards that point. Takes a fair bit of damage as well. Remember, this AoE healing is going to be so important to them, especially someone like a Tracer who is fairly low health. Now we see Urki jumping over to the Brigitte. They're willing to go like for like against Track. They need to be able to shut this Brigitte down in order to make sure their Tracer is more than safe. Only go throws out the Pulse Bomb, doesn't quite find anything just yet, but Angry Titans, they're going to actually find the point.
Diz ready to answer in kind. He does have the Pulse Bomb in his back pocket, and both of these compositions are running 3 supports, so there's a good amount of healing here. But Angry Titans, they have a lot more single target, or what I like to call point healing, from Luddy on the Mercy, who can deliver 60 HPS with that Caduceus Staff. Whereas on the side of Young and Beautiful, they've got more spread out, but weaker healing from the Lucio healing aura that Gustav's going to be providing. But of course, he does have that defensive ultimate in the sound barrier that's ready to go to try and answer something like, let's say, a self-destruct, and you know that Elivote's going to be hitting them.
AT holding high ground right now. Only got hiding on the floor just to make sure they don't acquire any extra capture percentage. Chance to use the recall, receives a little bit of armor from the Brigitte as well. Luddy is going to pop that Valkyrie, and Only God is going to be more than safe to just dive into the back line. However, with that rally going off, they're going to be even harder to kill. Transcendence used here from Young and Beautiful, so force that one out, mind you. And in fact, Angry Titans are going to answer with their own. So 3 support ultimates out of 3 already used, and apparently that's all they need. Dids is going to go down. Brigitte so deadly against those Tracers. Even Track falling as well. Apparently not so, as they do get a sticky kill on him. And that'll be still Angry Titans holding on to this point, but using 3 ultimates in that fight might just lead to their demise.
I'm surprised that Gustav has not yet swapped over to the Mercy to try and match what we see from Luddy here. Of course, the speed boost is pretty helpful to try and make an engagement, but once you get into the thick of things, you've got less healing to try and sustain yourself, and that makes your tanks far more vulnerable. And you can see that Angry Titans are consistently beating out Ben Best and Danny, even when Ben Best has the extra 1000 HP from a Primal Rage available.
Speaking of Primal Rage, that's exactly what Angry Titans are going to bring to the field. Those just goes extremely low, as Exarath would instantly put a Discord up on him, and it looks like they want to try and fight over the high ground this time. Look at Exarath though, very chunky boy, 300 HP with that armor under the shielding, makes him almost impossible for the Tracer to take out, and in fact Track is going to make sure Exarath's even more safe, as he does end up one-shotting Onigod. And now, controlling the point thus far. They are still managing to contest, however, overtime is now here. Did's taken out Lulsish, going to be fairly big, and he's going to annoy the backline to death. Pulse Bomb still available from him, might just try and go for the one clip, although having to recall just in time. Luddy does get the resurrection, however, with Elivote going down, Angry Titans maybe looking for a small retreat.
Elivote isn't available to protect Lulsish either, so he doesn't want to stay in here for long. Only God's going to try his luck though, but from the back, Ben Best going to come in with a little bit of help for his former partner from the team Doge. You can tell they've worked together before to try and corner those pesky characters like a Tracer. And you talked about it before, Jaws, how resilient Exaraf is to the Tracer and the Winston, and that's because they both use small arms fire, which is incredibly ineffective against armor. And that's why track gear is so crucial for keeping Exaraf alive, because if he's alive for longer, can hit more orbs, generate Transcendence, which he has done right now.
And he does. Elivote has that self-destruct though. We've seen some fantastic ones over the last coming weeks. Can Elivote be there to match? Is going to use that self-destruct to actually instantly remake. A lot of damage was forced upon him, and track activating that rally is going to give his team a whole lot of armor. And even Lolshis suiciding there, what it looked like, but he was actually forced out by track and Ben Best into the cars to make sure he goes straight back to spawn. And now 90% is on the clock here for Young and Beautiful. Looks like Angry Titans now on the ropes.
1-1 fight here for Angry Titans. Will claim from Oasis, but it doesn't look like Young and Beautiful are in the driver's seat. Look at Exaraf, he hasn't even had to use that Transcendence yet.
Hey, Fox going down and just spawning now just means Angry Titans are going to have even more of a trouble to get onto the point. Track Bashes only got away. Even Lolshis tried to get on, had that Primal Rage, just wasn't able to get it off quick enough. That will be City Center going over to Young and Beautiful, meaning tying up the series 1-1 so far. Angry Titans didn't really look as strong that time around. It seems that track had everything under control.
Yeah, and Exaraf didn't even have to use that Transcendence until the end, sort of like as a celebration firework. And it feels like when you can't bring out Lolshis on the Reinhardt, we can bring out the burst damage of 75 damage per swing, where you can really get through the armor that is given to Exaraf by Dids or track on the Brigitte, that it's very hard to dislodge Exaraf. And if you leave him alone for long, the man's going to hit lots of orbs. He's going to build up Transcendences. And when you can leave him alone, he'll just wreck you.
Yeah, he will. No damage drop off on those orbs as well, so you can sit rather far back.
It's a snipey boy.
Be more than safe. Now track bringing out the fire once again against the 3-3 of Angry Titans. They're going to move their way to the left side of the point, try and corral Young and Beautiful in maybe, make sure track knows his place, although Lolshis going extremely low. He's actually booped into the team.
Great mechanics.
Fantastic use of the boop on the wall there by track. Ends up securing the first kill. Angry Titans, they're going to be scurrying.
Perfect shot there onto Luddy as well, and like you said, they're sent scurrying, but it's going to be rather slow because their DJ has been put down. And this is where I expected Angry Titans to really be able to use the Lucio to great advantage. And that's because Young and Beautiful don't have one. They can round themselves upon Exaraf at a moment's notice with that speed boost to make sure that he's got nowhere to escape to, because you can't lend mobility to that Zenyatta.
Speaking about mobility, that's exactly what they are going to do. Ben Best gets stunned, almost punched off the map, and Durkee went a little bit two-hand there. Was left all alone and kind of isolated, and Ben Best had all the healing in the world that he could need. He is now going to move on to the point, dueling with Lolshis. Lolshis ends up going for the charge, doesn't quite pin it, and leaves him extremely low in the corner also, but ends up getting the better of Ben Best for the time being, although track gets taken out of mid-air. That stationary target, so easy for the Lucio to hit. Gets resurrected in the end, and actually Dids is going to secure his life. And you can see now the aggression coming out from Young and Beautiful. Dids was so safe to kind of walk up to the rest of the team. He knows he has the healing and the damage boost coming out from Gustav, something that Angry Titans just don't have.
Yeah, and track was a little bit high to get the most use out of that barrage. Usually you want to be a little bit lower so that you can put the spread of missiles over a tighter field and deliver more burst damage of that ultimate. But he decided to go high instead, possibly thinking that maybe Lolshis would jump up and give him more smack with a hammer, but Luddy still managed to clean that up. However, like you said, Dids is the one who managed to make it work on the Hanzo.
They're going to go for another re-engage. Extremely easy as this comp to just go time after time after time with Luddy speeding everybody up. He's almost at that sound barrier. In fact, he's just clocked over now. However, Dids, he's got that Dragon Strike. He's ready to unleash it. He fires it through the wall. There's the barrage as well, and Track and Dids get their names on the board as Urki and Lolshis end up going down. And now Track just cleaning the rest of the fight up. They're going to push back Angry Titans once more.
And we're watching We Have Org. Last week, that was their signature combo. They had the Graviton, they had Way Fast come down with a barrage, and they had Danid come through with a Dragon Strike. And looks like Angry Titans are experiencing some Group B fury there from Young and Beautiful. We've taken that one out of their book, and I'm surprised there that Exaraf decided to use the Transcendence to maintain his team. That was a huge investment of ultimates, like 5 to win that fight.
One more fight left, and Ben Best has that Shatter. That Graviton Surge gets sent back to the point. However, that Shatter hitting the floor prevents a lot of that damage. Beautiful boob there from Luddy, but didn't quite find anybody in that self-destruct. Urki takes out Diz and Tracks in a lot of trouble in mid-air, and Elivote claims his life once again. Angry Titans are going to move forward and be able to reclaim control of the point with a beautiful team kill, but Ben Best almost turned that fight around.
He almost did. He managed to shatter Lolshis. Lolshis was coming in for the charge to try and remove the shield and make everyone in the Graviton very much a victim of that self-destruct. But Ben Best, laying down the shadow, like you said, really could have turned that fight around. Luckily, the rest of Angry Titans were there for the cleanup, including AFOX with the Coalescence, keeping everyone nice and healthy. But Young and Beautiful, time's on their side now. They've got about 80% to build up some ultimates. They need to win one fight.
Well, this fight is not going to be that fight, unfortunately, for Young and Beautiful. With Gustav going down first, kind of a symptom of that comp. As soon as that goes down, Track is going to fall rather soon as well. Only has to rely on that healing from Exaraf, which isn't a whole bunch, and Elivo is able to take him out of the air. Now, Angry Titans still with firm control of the point. They did expend one ultimate, however, Young and Beautiful can go again. They have got 2 DPS ults this time around. They're going to use that speed up once more. Track hovering over the rest of the team, but with Dids falling and Exaraf once again, Angry Titans are making these team fights stick.
Oh, that's a strange time to invest a barrage there, but it does manage to get 2, and Young and Beautiful still have 4 or 5 ultimates ready to go.
Gustav's going to get the res as well. In fact, Young and Beautiful are numbers up, and they do have Danny's ult and Ben Best. They're going to layer them on top of each other. Afox is caught in here, gets pinned by Ben Best, and in fact, Only God's going to go down as well. An overinvestment maybe, Harry, but it seemed to work out for them beautifully right now. Self-destruct on the point to buy an extra bit of time. However, Angry Titans nowhere near them right now. Still one contesting, however, Young and Beautiful, they're going to swiftly cap it with 4 members on the point. Track trying to find the quick kill onto Urki. However, now Rally not available for him now. Is going to be able to make his team quite tanky enough. Young and Beautiful now ticking down the clock. Ben Best is going to get his name on the board once again. This revitalized tank player from Young and Beautiful coming up trumps against what's known as the best tank play in the league. A quick cleanup for Young and Beautiful. This university map has gone all their way, and in fact, this entire map has it as well. Oasis is going to be the victor. Young and Beautiful are going to be the victor on Oasis as they take the first map in this series.
They read the aggression of Angry Titans so well there. They made sure, like, okay, they've come in deep. Track, you may die during this, but we've got the resurrection ready. So just lay down the barrage, take out 2 of them, and we can make a counter-attack here. And that's exactly what they did. And this is the first map of Contenders Season 2 that Angry Titans have lost.
There we go. First map on the board now for Young and Beautiful. Can they steamroll forwards? And running 3-3, no DPS picks coming through for Angry Titans. Maybe they need to change something up. We'll have to wait and find out. We're going to jump to a quick break, guys. We'll be back map number 2 very soon. Welcome back, guys. This is Angry Titans versus Young and Beautiful. And with that win, that will lead Angry Titans to losing their first map of Contenders Season 2. Now, we're going to go on to King's Row or Iconvolt. And I've got a feeling, only a small feeling, Angry Titans are going to choose King's Row. Tank-favoured map. Don't want to face Trax Farah on Iconvolt.
Yeah, the Farah on Iconvolt on the defensive first point is just such an integral part. That's why we see RCK on Giganti move over from his usual off-tank role to play on the Farah, because it can just be so essential when you're around the central clock tower, and you can even beat out Widowmakers indoors. So I doubt you really want to go up against that. And like you said, Jaws, pathetic. It was King's Row.
Oh, yes, it is. And I got to say, What a prediction on my half. And I'm going to predict Angry Titans are probably going to roll out the gate with some form of quad tank or the 3-3. It's been working over the last couple of weeks, but maybe teams have been able to sniff it out now. Maybe they found the gaps in the armor, the cracks in the armor, if you will, Harry. Young and Beautiful, running track on that Pharah seemed to work wonders for them on University.
Yeah, it seems Pharah can be an answer, but it needs to be a very special Pharah. Someone like Track who can hit rocket after rocket with a direct up. We saw one on Luddy on that first stage of University after he managed to boop in Loltish and put him in a vulnerable position. The mechanics on this man are second to none.
Not only that, playing for an NA team last time around and recently coming back to EU. Bit of a ping difference there, mind you.
Yeah.
Can't really play Widow on that high ping. It can be more luck than skill hitting those headshots. That ping difference is quite big when you are playing on the NA servers, and I'm excited to see him play something like the Hanzo and something like the Widowmaker now. He was a fantastic Widow and Pharah in Season 1. You just got to bring it back. You've got to face off against Only God. You're both in the World Cup on the same team. You just got to make sure he knows who's the dominant one.
I'm the alpha Norwegian. To butcher a quote that I think Derry and Tridd like, when you go back onto the EU ping, Track does go out Ultra Instinct. Just butchering some anime quotes, don't mind me.
I wouldn't, I think, my anime's not that freshened up, I'm not going to lie to you.
It's not fresh and clean.
Not fresh and clean, not squeaky clean. However, Only God's Widow's been squeaky clean over the last couple of days, and they are going to run double sniper on the defense. So, call me wrong, Harry did predict they'd run 3-3 or the quad tank. They are proving me wrong thus far, and Young and Beautiful, they are going to run their own variation of the 3-3 and Track actually on this Hanzo.
3-2-1, as some people might call it. Track, of course, like you said, the long-range damage here, because of course the arrows don't have damage fall off. He can position himself quite comfortably, and look, this is basically being his personal Reinhardt, whereas Ben Best is going to be protecting the main core of Young and Beautiful, and they're having this sort of double threat that Angry Titans need to deal with.
I think every sniper would like that in some form or another.
Just
their
personal
own
Brigitte.
personal Brigitte or personal Reinhardt to back them up. Only God is going to claim the first kill of the map on Xrath. However, it's going to get Swifty rezzed in a very safe position where Young and Beautiful behind that statue. And they're going to make their way to the high ground now, trying to challenge out Only God.
And of course, it's going to be shielding for all of them from Ben Best as they move through that narrow corridor. And now they've got to decide where they want to make their rotation. Young and Beautiful need to be decisive here, because if they aren't, there's going to be time for Angry Titans to move around, reorganize. And Xerath down already, but it's a new kind of sniper. It's the Zen.
Yeah, he had 3 snipers in this game, apparently. However, that resurrection was off cooldown, so good stuff. It's going to get him back up. That would have been an awkward situation if he was kind of left there on the ground with no res available. And now Track, look at his positioning now. Definitely not something you usually see, switching sides completely. He's going to get a big pocket from his Mercy as well. It's going to spot out enemy Hanzo. However, Only God is going to make sure he stakes his claim on that point. Same with Loltish, as Gustav and Ben Best end up going down.
Who's attacking, who's defending, I don't even know, George. It's a little bit of a merry-go-round here, but Xerath managed to take out Early Vote with the mech. So now Early Vote needs to earn that mech back, or looks like he may well get it from passive charge before the next attack is ready from Young and Beautiful. Only God just showing his stuff there, removing Track. And he's going to have built up towards the infra side, so that means Young and Beautiful, no surprises, going to be available as they rotate in for their next attack. They may just have to go straight up the gut, because no funny business while you can be seen.
Definitely not. And Loltish, knowing exactly where everybody is going to be very helpful, as he does have that shadow online. Only God's going to be more than safe once again. Dids is pocketing Track right now. Luddy is going to activate that to Valkyrie. Same with Gustav, in fact. Ben Best going extremely low, and Danny now pushing forward, seeming to get a little bit of charge. He's going to get pinned, however. No Discord orb won't land Danny in a whole lot of bother. He gets instantly healed up by that Transcendence, although now left completely alone. Only God is going to go down to that Storm Arrow, and a big shadow does hit the ground, and that self-destruct is going to get blocked up. Has got the Graviton Surge available to him, but Loltish manages to win out the Ryan v Ryan duel, and now is Danny all up to him to reset, or at least get back in time. He has got a high energy count, so he's going to want to stay in the fight for as long as he possibly can. Angry
Titans feeling the heat. They've used a few ultimates, but Loltish won't be available to use his, and Young and Beautiful on their counter-attack here, following the lead of Track and a couple of picks, meant that they could retake and claim point A of King's Row, and now the payload is moving. And these street spheres, Jaws, this is where we love to see Reinhardt's, because the Reinhardt shield is basically the same width as the street, as is the Earth Shadow. Those can be incredibly impactful mechanics of Overwatch that you'll see very much here on King's Row 2nd.
Well, only got switching over to that jump rat to blast through some of those shields coming out from Young and Beautiful. Remember, Danny still has that the Graviton Surge available, so only God's going to have to be very careful.
Playing Diva.
Yeah, I kind of am, yeah. Danny was a bit of a Diva menace back in Season 1 and in Season 2. Look at all the damage coming out from Only God, though. Graviton Surge does come out. The Dragons are going to hit the floor, but not before they hit Only God. And in fact, Lolsish gets taken out by Exrath. He even claims himself a two-piece there, Harry. As Young and Beautiful are moving still their way through the streets. Avox buying a little bit more time, but that was all he could do. Angry Titans still have a wealth of ultimates in the bank. However, Young and Beautiful still have the Transcendence.
A win is a win, Jaws, but I kind of feel that Track could have been a little bit more min-max-ish on that particular Dragon Strike. It went down into a 4. It did manage to take out Lolsish, but if he was on a more equilateral plane, he could have put it down the streets and had a lot more area of effect available onto players like Avox in the back. But in the end, he managed to stagger out Avox, so that went well.
Wow, Track gets the nice flank onto Urki, and that will leave Lolsish a little bit scared in the sidelines, especially against Dids on the Brigitte, who's been pocketed also, and actually forces them off the second as well. So free cap, it seems, for Young and Beautiful. Track starting that one off and ended up going down as well. However, a resurrection will bring him back from the grave. Lolsish moving forward, being extremely aggressive. They know he has Earth Shatter, so it will be all up to Ben Best to try and block it.
And let's talk about Lolsish and what sort of precarious situation he's in right now. He can't really bring out that Shatter because he's taken too long to die.
Transcendence coming out to save the rest of the team. That Dragons did get unleashed from the Angry Titans. Nurky already up to 40% charge already. Self-destruct to remech as well. Actually takes Gustav out somehow. He was up into the top left, but he ends up going down anyway, and that will lead Young and Beautiful to go for a reset.
I said it was taking Lolsish too long to die. That was wrong. He's dying too quickly because he doesn't have that Zarya at his back. He can't get a projected barriers that Ben Best can, so Ben Best is going to win out these duels like 9 out of 10 times. It also means that Lolsish has got to be far more trepidatious rather, about bringing out the Earth Shatter, because not only can it be blocked by Ben Best, it can be blocked by Danny's shields as well. So he's got to think of all of these factors before he lays down the hammer.
Okay, well, they have got what is so famously called the combo available to them. Do Young and Beautiful. Danny's going to march forward with that Graviton Surge. Being very careful of Elivote, though, has been known to eat a lot of Graviton Surges, but not this time around. Track gets damage boosters. Those Dragons do rain through the walls. 5k for Track. And that will be another one going over to Danny. Not quite the 6k, unfortunately. Danny didn't quite gift that one over to him, but the old school combo does work through and throughout if you do not have that Transcendence coupled with Luddy's ultimate as well.
Track there taking a quick lunge back, making sure that he was out of range of Elivote's defense matrix. And you can see now that Elivote is trying to pocket the tire with defense matrix, and he will find Track.
All right, okay, and that'll be Dids going down as well. So not quite delivering the payload just yet, and a 2-minute time bank as well to work with is pretty big considering the stage they are on. Lolsish still has that Shatter available, and he can twin it with the Dragons if need be.
Young and Beautiful there, they were happy to disengage after they lost Track. They know that Luddy put in the Valkyrie, like, okay, you can just heal nothing. We're going to back out. We'll see you in a couple of seconds once that's timed out. And here they are again, Young and Beautiful knocking at the door. We'll have to see if Angry Titans are home.
Double snipers now for Young and Beautiful, hoping to make a very early pick off. Wow, big shot onto the mech of Elivote. Does send him packing. Those Dragons to dissuade the rest of the team. Track taking a 1-on-2 there with the with the other Hanzo having a little bit of a damage boost. Ends up winning in the fight out and at least securing the high ground for now. Now trying to spot out this Widowmaker. Ends up getting a shot onto Elivote, so he's going to go back to spawn. No remech available to him until he actually ends up coming back up. He trying to go to the small flank, but discorded, and Track ends up taking him down again. Here's Avox with the Transcendence onto the point. The Shadow does eventually hit the floor, but Danny gets straight back up as Ben Besh march forward with the Dragons, and that'll be Luddy end up falling, and round 1 being completed. 3 points in the bank for Young and Beautiful.
I think that may well have been the same Shadow that Lolsish was holding on to since point A. He hadn't been able to lay it down because it's just so hard to do so versus the double sniper. They can move between layers of verticality so easily, but you've got to try and put it on a more ground-born hero. In this case, you're looking at Ben Best, you're looking at Danny, you're looking at Exarath on Zenyatta, but of course these guys had such great synergy between themselves, and Danny was protecting Ben Best so well, and Ben Best everyone else in turn, by enabling that Reinhardt. But Lolsish never found the opening to lay down the hammer, and when you can really sort of mitigate Lolsish, I'd call him like a leader in Angry Titans. They're very much about tank play, and Reinhardt's like your leader of your tanks. And when he's in a position where he's stymied, he's focused, and he's frustrated about what he can do with the mechanics of his hero, then it can very much cause Angry Titans to fall apart.
Angry Titans now on the offense. So are they going to change something up there? And I was very hoping, just for the briefest of seconds, and briefest of moments there, that they were on the defense with Urki bringing out the Torb.
We did see an offensive Torbjorn from Urki on Mbani last season.
He's not going to play it. I can tell you right now. Where's he going to put it? On top of the bus?
Yeah, man.
What, do you just shoot the statue forever?
You know that in British wartime we are going to weaponize all those double-decker buses. That's what they're for. They're sleeper agents of MI6.
Agents. Okay, they're going to send them down the streets with turrets on the top.
Yeah, man.
All right, I'm down. Can't wait to hear an office. Now Young and Beautiful on the defense. Still running that double sniper and with Danny on the Xayah. So they are going to be able to win out these tank duels if Losish doesn't get that support from his Xayah. And this is something we've been seeing, in fact, past few fights. benbest winning these tank fights and forcing Losish not to use that ult, like you were saying.
And Only God's usually one who will go over onto the Xayah. He's got exceptional tracking skills, as we've seen on both his Xayah and his Tracer play. But of course, Elivote now. No Xayah, but he's going to be moving over to the Hog instead. Okay, trying to make another big pick with the hook. 3 pick heroes here for Angry Titans in the Widowmaker, Hanzo, and the Roadhog. Only God on the floor right now, making sure that he knows exactly where the enemy Widowmaker is. He's going to find her, and a clip to the knee is going to send Dids packing. In fact, a nice headshot onto Exarath as well. Danny going extremely low, and Only God finds a 3-piece. Okay, starts off the map extremely strong. Young and Beautiful now, just on the run. I said Only God's tracking is good, but his flicks are even better, and he showed that there on first point, making his way through the entirety of Young and Beautiful's line. Didn't even know what hit him. It was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm dead. He was looking on the stairs, maybe looking for a small flank, and yep, doesn't matter, as the Widow had the grappling hook and a very quick and concise cap. Now leads 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the time bank for Angry Titans. And Urki here, he's almost put himself up towards the Dragon Strike, and that's going to buy a huge amount of room here for Angry Titans if they need it to disengage or to make a counter-engage if Young and Beautiful try and move into them. But of course, neither team has a speed boost from Lucio, so it's going to be slow going. Elivote's being checked for, and he's been found. Oh no, Sonic Arrow just discovers his position, and he ends up going down. You can see Urki trying to get a little bit of comeuppance, although Track is going to take him out with a Storm Arrow. Young and Beautiful are going to be able to halt this push now. They're going to be able to just push very far up, because Angry Titans now are going to have to wait for everybody to spawn. 600 HP worth of roast pork fed into the ultimate bank of Young and Beautiful there, and now they have 3 ready to go. The 4th well on the way from Danny, who's sitting at 91% on the Graviton Surge. Elivote, he's going to be abandoning the Hog now. He's had enough of the big pig, and instead he's going to be moving over to Xayah once again to try and protect Losish. Only God has activated the infra sites. Everyone can see everyone else for a little bit until Track's Sonic Arrow runs out. Oh, Urki, benbest and Danny definitely didn't see that coming. However, Graviton Surge locks Urki in place, but that's the only kill they're going to be able to find. A 3v1 trade. I'll say 3v1. Now it's a 4v2 and a 5v2. There we go. Young and Beautiful finally finding the floor, and that will be Angry Titans now moving forwards. And only 1 ultimate expended in that as well. They were able to just use their raw manpower to push through the rest. Panic there from Young and Beautiful, I do believe. They saw that both their tanks went down. Danny threw out a last-ditch Graviton Surge, thinking he could get more than he actually managed to, and Track, dutiful as ever, threw in the Dragon Strike, and they only managed to claim Urki. But this is a combination we don't talk about a huge amount. Infrasight and Dragon Strike. It meant he could see exactly where those tanks were and catch them by surprise. So Valkyries now unleashed for Young and Beautiful Angry Titans. In fact, they're going to move forward with the Transcendence as well. So Angry Titans now forced away into a corner. Afox still has his available. An Ice Shadow hits the floor, and benbest is going to bite the dust as well. Discord Orb on top of him, just lays him out bare, and that'll be Urki marching forward as well. Afox is going to go down, however, does get instantly resurrected and unleashes that Transcendence. The Graviton Surge mixed with the Dragon Strike nets Urki yet another kill. It's just scrapping on the point for now, buying as much time as possible, but Danny will soon fall, and that will be the 2nd point captured by Angry Titans. And Urki's a name that's on your lips a lot, Jaws. And let's talk about Season 2 and Urki. In Season 1, he was a little bit of a, as his Twitter bio said, a hog one-trick. And he usually filled that niche within Angry Titan's famous quad tank compositions. But now, coming into Season 2, we've seen Urki flourish. He's gone across all these different heroes. We've seen him on Widowmaker, we've seen him on Hanzo, on the Brigitte for the GOAT's composition. And he's owning every single one of them. But now he's going to be competing once again against Track, who has the high ground. Oh, not for long, he doesn't. Has to back off rather sharpish, as a lot of damage did come his way. benbest takes a Flame Strike, and that will leave Losish actually having that Shadow. We'll see if he can lay it out rather quickly. Remember last time, held on until the last sparing moments. However, Dids having this very nice aerial position isn't going to quite be able to help benbest, as him and
Best end up going down. In fact, Danny is going to go down as well, and that will leave Angry Titans to move forward. One ultimate used once again. Only God's going to activate those sites as well.
Young and Beautiful can re-engage though with almost 5 ultimates in their bank. No one on the side of Angry Titans to eat it. No trusty Diva from Elivo, and here comes a Dragon Strike already.
Valkyrie's going to come in. That Graviton Surge landing onto the point. Lolsh just goes extremely low. His track fire those dragons from spawn, claiming his life. Elivo is extremely high charge and just trying to chase down Danny. 100% charge versus a Discord Orb target. They're melting like a hot knife through butter. Best lays down the shadow, but he's just trying to get on the point, but behind him, he's got to watch out because Lolsh is just swinging at him completely free. Fox with the Transcendence keeps the rest of Angry Titans alive. They got 0.06 of a meter to go. It's just all clean up for them now. Only God finally finds Danny, and Gustav is the last to go down. Angry Titans do end up getting a map completion, so we're going to go into round number 3.
A slaughter at the end there, and a second time that we've seen Danny solo grab someone. Sometimes, Jaws, it's about sending a message, but sometimes it's about getting value out of the Graviton Surge, which some would argue is the most powerful ultimate in all of Overwatch. And really, when you try and combine that with Track's Dragon Strike, that's twice you only managed to get one person there. And that time it was Lolsish caught inside, and he got himself a Zarya shield, he got the Mercy Pocket, he got the Harmony Orb. It took a long time to kill Lolsish because of a huge health ball available and the damage that the dragons apply. And of course, because Track was firing that out from spawn, Gustav wasn't available to damage boost him, as Gustav was coming out using the Valkyrie on those who were contesting the car. So overall, I'm not very happy with the ultimate usage that we've seen, but of course Danny does have yet another chance to prove himself here as they come out on the offense for our second round of King's Row.
This once again shows the proficiency and the just the knowledge of their composition as well. They know when they've got one pick, when they use that solo Graviton Surge, they can win the rest of the fight because they've got this massive bodies on point. Lolshish is just really not afraid. There's so much trust in AFOG, so much trust in Luddy to actually keep him alive. He's not using that right click to keep the shield up. He's trying to build up Shatter so they can continue rolling the point. That's exactly what we saw there at the end. 3 minutes and 14 seconds in their time bank. However, Young and Beautiful on the offense now, like you said, with 1 minute and 10 on theirs.
Once again, double sniper going to be taken straight down by Only God. Unlucky Track. There's a resurrection, however, get back for free, but that's going to be on cooldown for 30 seconds now. We're going to be about half their time bank having elapsed before they can use it again.
They're going to move forward. Best dueling with Luddy on the statue. Danny is going to back him up. He's got 40% charge already. That's exactly one barrier break, but Track goes down yet again. But this time it's going to be to Urki. Damage boost arrows, they are extremely deadly if you pop your head out for just a moment. 40 seconds now remain. Half their time bank already gone.
Indeed it has, and trying to accrue some charge here as Danny will be 100, and you can deal 195 damage per second with a fully charged Zarya Beam, so you can cut through people in moments. But the question is, will you be able to find anyone who's not behind Lolsish's shield?
Well, they're going to move around now. Gustav almost has that Valkyrie online, but Lolsish, he's almost got his as well. Valkyrie now unlocked for Gustav. Only God's going to retreat fairly far back. He's going to try and take the Mercy out of thin air. However, he's going to focus the supports now. Transcendence used by Young and Beautiful to move himself forward, and Ben Best finds the kill onto Luddy. This is the opening they needed. Sonic Arrow onto the corner of the building to make sure there's no one going for the sneaky kills on the back line, although it doesn't really seem to matter as Fox and Urki were forced to retreat to the streets, just allowed Young and Beautiful to clean up the rest of the fight and cap the point.
We talked about how Lolshish didn't use that Earth Shadow before in their first defense, and this time he brought it out pretty much as soon as he had it, but Ben Best, he read this one. He held his nerve, made sure that no one from the side of Young and Beautiful got shattered. That meant that the counter-attack was ready. They brought out the Transcendence from Ixaraf to make sure Gustav could not be killed while the Resurrection was being used. But now Elivo, he does have the Graviton Surge, and Danny's still a far fling from his. Urki ready to bring out the Dragon Strike as well.
Yes, he is. Elivo chucks it in. He manages to get to the Shadow hits the floor, but doesn't quite find anything. But he cancels the strike completely. I take that completely back. Track heals Only God. However, Angry Titans still winning and contesting the cards. Overtime was gone. Urki doesn't need the Dragon Strike, not when he can find 2 quick headshots with the Storm Arrows. Track and Gustav fall, and they halt them just before the streets phase.
I got to give Ben Best credit for the game sense there. He knew the win condition that they were trying to exploit on the side of Angry Titans. He managed to take down Urki while he was mid-cast on the Dragon Strike and cancel that entirely. But unfortunately, he did not cancel Lolsish moving forward and Urki having the Storm Arrow available to try and just plink his way through Young and Beautiful's health pools. Headshot after headshot, kill after kill, and almost on the card to keep overtime ticking over.
That's a horrible place to hold the card as well if you're on the defense right now. 3 minutes, remember, are available to Angry Titans, and as soon as they cap that point, Young and Beautiful spawned so far away, it's going to be incredibly hard for them not to stagger themselves. They're going to have to play their A game on the defense. Even just making sure they can just stay alive and retreat as an entire unit is going to be more important than staggering themselves towards the very end.
Good stuff here. He's weighing up if he wants to stay on this Lucio. It could be incredibly useful if they are running this 3-3 composition for them to try and control engagements. And you often want to be able to control engagements when you think that Angry Titans could bring out this double sniper again. Because for the double snipers, they can do a lot of damage, but they do most of their damage when you're not paying them as much mind because you have to worry about some other force on point from Angry Titans. But here, Young and Beautiful hoping to just smash their way through the ground force of Angry Titans and make sure Onigod doesn't have any cover.
Well, Ben Best, we said it's his chance, his opportunity to stand up against the best tanks in EU, and he's doing just that so far. But he's going to have a stalwart defense now. And in fact, look at how aggressive they're going now. Like you mentioned, Gustav sticking onto that Lucio, going for an extremely early push to waste as much of that time as possible. Avox and Gustav are going to bite the dust, and Erky now just swinging through the entire team is going to find Exaraf as well. Not afraid to take the one-on-one duel with the Ryan, but you should be a little bit more scared than that. Onigod now on the run on that small health pack, although Ben Best is going to run straight through him, but Onigod still manages to kill him off.
These guys need to die very quickly because otherwise they're going to be all staggered if they try and come in to have the defense here. It does look like Angry Titans are going to be able to cap point A. Young and Beautiful, they only have a couple of meters to play with here. They need to get together. And Dids, it does look like, spawned a long way back. So had to make an emergency swap over to the Traitor so he can blink his way forward towards Young and Beautiful.
No more 3-3 now for Young and Beautiful. It is the 3-2-1.
They can come out the top.
They're going to have to make a rather swift entrance, like you said. 10 meters and counting on the board now for Angry Titans. Young and Beautiful playing with the fire right now. Going to jump straight on the entirety of Angry Titans. Going to push themselves forward, but Lolsish sets track up, swings it home, and ends up securing the kill. They're going to charge forward as well. Self-destruct, nothing to block it. Elivo finds a kill. Dids finds his comeuppance in Elivo, but it's too little too late. Angry Titans now just cleaning up the rest of the fight, and King's Row will be theirs. 1-1 in the series thus far.
What's 250 HP to a Titan? Track went in, he was very confident about his engage, and he was actually disintegrated by what Angry Titans was bringing to the table, and they have evened us up as we head into half-time.
That was a very rather close, if I do say so myself. You've got to say, Track diving in there head first is quite deadly.
I got this, guys.
However, it did manage to stun the Reinhardt. The problem was too much forward momentum from Angry Titans, and Lolsish literally teed him up like a golf ball, swung it home, and managed to just boot him straight off the map.
Yeah, he was trying to get him back into the corridor hole that he came out of.
But ding, that's a hole in one.
Yeah, just pinball him.
Well, 1-1 now, and I've got to say, Angry Titans, they're looking good, but Young and Beautiful, they're coming out the gate swinging. Managing to take Oasis is no mean feat against some of the scariest tanks in EU. We're going to jump over to the desk, however. They're going to break down those games even more.